I didn't come from a monster background. I came from theater and doing mostly beauty makeup, and I enjoyed the prosthetic stuff. The highlight of doing Angel, it changes every week, and that's the best part about it. I'm not stuck on a show where I'm doing just beauty makeup or just prosthetics. Every episode is just a new experience. In my department, makeup-wise, we only have 2 makeup artists on the show. It's myself and David DeLeon. In our trailer, we have 2 hairstylists also, Diana Acree and Anthony Miner. So there's only 4 of us that are permanent on the show.
Cordelia? What happened to your head?
Excuse me?
Your hair. It's new.
I begged and pleaded, please let me cut my hair. My head's too heavy and it takes forever. And so they said, fine, you can cut your hair. And it was a disaster. It was too bold and striking.
It's hardly noticeable. Cordelia, what happened? Your hair. Well, it looks great. What?
It didn't work. So I've gotten to go lighter now. And, I have a wonderful team here. David DeLeon, who does my makeup, which I'm really pleased with. He does the airbrush thing. It's the bomb.
Oh, no.
We have a special makeup made by a fellow named John Vulich, which is the monsters and the masks and stuff. The vampires have prosthetic pieces that they wear.
The way John Vulich and I work together is John Vulich has the meetings with the producers and the writers and whoever to create the monster that they have written. They do the drawings and they get approved, and then they start sculpting. After they make that piece, if it's called for, they'll pre-color it to an extent, and then they'll send it to me.
I'm in awe. I don't want it on me, but I think it's fantastic on them, My favorite character is the host.
We're all brothers under the skin, mi amigo. Although the garden hue and the horns have kept me out of some key public performances.
It's a time-consuming makeup, and he's a great person to work with. It's a lot of intricate detail makeup with airbrush and stuff.
Makeup process takes a long time. It takes 3 hours. My characters, it takes the longest for him. Just getting it on takes 3 hours, then the contacts, and then the hair. They spray my hair a different color.
The beginning of Andy's makeup, it starts with a prosthetic that's a full face. It goes all over his face, from his hairline all the way under his chin. It's a very fine piece, so it's very thin, and that's why it's so time-consuming to get that first piece on. After that, then I just paint it with what we call a Pax paint, cover him with that and his neck and ears. Then the next step for me is I put on an airbrush makeup that's another color of green that I spray his whole face, that piece, his eyes, his ears, his neck, everything, his hands that are exposed. I spray that green on everything. And then after that, I go into another layer of makeup, which is a darker green, forest green makeup, just to start giving it some texture around his cheeks and his brows and around his horns and stuff. Then after that, I go and use what they call a transparent black. So it's not really dark, it just starts giving more detail, more dark texture. And while I'm doing this, while I have each color out, I go to his hands, and I'll do his hands with the green and the black. Just go to his face and then his hands, and just keep one color running at a time. After that, I use reds around his eye and color his horns red. Then after I get all that detail done in the red and the black around his eyes, then I put a highlighter on, which is a yellow color that just kind of brings the highs back on his nose and around his horns and stuff like that. And then it goes and has his hair done, and then he has his contacts put in, and we do the last minute touch-up, and off we go. He's very patient. He gets a little wiggly sometimes, but I'll just bust him and tell him to sit still, and he's okay. He laughs at me.
When he's doing the glue around my mouth, I have to be quiet for like 40 minutes, which is torturous for me. But the rest of the time, we go back and forth. And there's usually always lots of other people in there from the hair and makeup department, so we get to tell stories. It's fun. It's the funnest place to be on set.
Being affiliated with a great makeup crew, even starting with Buffy with Todd and then going on to Dane's, it's just been a great transition because it was important for me to feel comfortable with that, and he's been phenomenal. They create these creatures that are just unbelievable every week.
God, I have never looked so beautiful and so hideous all at the same time. My face for Darla, my sculpted piece, I think is one of the most evil-looking vampires. When they put the makeup on me, and I looked in the mirror and I smiled, and I went, wow, that's scary.
Gung-ho, are they? Because all I'm sensing right now is big, stinky fear.
It's amazing how the prosthetics can bring to life a character, and as an actor, it really takes the pressure off.
Stop, please. That was an angel. He's gone. He's all gone.
Dane did the makeup, and it was just really upsetting, actually, to see that burn makeup, because it was really incredibly well done.
If you notice in the Shroud of Ramon episode, there's a demon played by Tony Todd that the makeup is dynamic. I mean, he's got this spine that comes out on the outside of his body and goes all the way down to his back. And the hair, if you see that demon, you'll see how great their makeup is. So they work very hard and do a fantastic job. And not to mention me, I mean, you know, I'm really white, you know. They hook this makeup up tight. You know, they make me look good too, so they're good.
We knew we had to do something big at the end of year one, and we thought it would be fun to blow up Angel's offices for a couple of reasons. One, big explosion's always fun. Two, we really wanted to get him into new offices. We built a beautiful new hotel set for him year two.
Last Year Angel had this fantastically kind of dark, foreboding, underground cellar apartment with columns and this antique, rough furniture all around. And then the little sort of pokey office upstairs on the top of it. And then this amazing change from that year, blowing that up, and then I think at the director of photography's request, blowing that to smithereens so he would never be trapped in that little room again. And then going into the magnificent hotel. So Stuart Blatt, our designer, has been amazing.
We ended season one with Angel, where the producers decided to create a large explosion that would effectively, you know, eliminate Angel's building where he lived and worked. And so after that episode, the producers over the summer said, let's come up with a new place for Angel to live and work and base his operations out of. And what their idea was an old hotel, something that they could use to evoke the past of Los Angeles and some of Angel's history. And they asked us to come up with a design idea for a hotel, something kind of creepy and spooky, but not too dark because they didn't want something depressing. So after coming up with an approved design, we decided to make a model. And this is a model for Angel's new base of operations. It's the hotel that's called the Hyperion Hotel in our show. It's based off of many, many hotels and public buildings all around Los Angeles and the country. And what we have here is the interior of the hotel space. This is the large reception area. Here we've got the front doors of Angel's Hotel, which when we go to shoot, anybody coming in and out of the front doors, we go to a location on Wilshire Boulevard, which is called the Los Altos Apartments. Once they enter into here, the whole world of Angel lives inside of this set. Now that you've seen this, why don't we take a look at the real space and see how it all came out. And here we are in the finished product, Angel's Hotel. Here's the elevators on the second floor that literally go to absolutely nowhere. And if you look over the balcony here, which is featured prominently in the episode Are You Now or Have You Ever Been, Angel was hung right from this beam up here and left dangling. The hotel patrons thinking they killed him off.
Go on, push him out!
This is the main reception area of the hotel, which is used usually about 10 minutes every episode when the gang gets together and talks about the case or does a little research. You come down this way, get a much better view of it. Here we are in the main reception area. Over here is the front entrance. These are recreations of the doors of the exact apartment building in Los Angeles that we use as the exterior. Over here is Angel's office. He has his own little office where he deals with people. Over here is Cordelia's desk, the reception desk that she sits at and does her typing or works on the computer, does research, and Wesley sits here. Sometimes Gunn's in here. Out here is the entrance to the garden. Angel's hotel has a garden that's not tended to often, but Angel kind of works out there sometimes and sits there and contemplates or meets with guests.
What is she doing?
They're talking, yes?
And it was very important for the producers that Angel have an exterior space to go to So the garden is half covered with a ceiling and half open to sunlight. So when we're out here in the daytime, Angel can sit in here and talk with people and not be affected by the sunlight that would kill him as a vampire. And then through the back entrance there, cars can pull up. We can pull a car onto stage or a motorcycle onto stage, and people can get out of the car and come in this way and then enter the back door through the hotel.
We sell it to a theme park, we could get paid.
Okay, can I say it? I want to say it. Say what?
Here we have the way that Angel gets to the basement of his building. If he comes down this hallway here, there's a door that says authorized personnel only. Once you open that, we cut, and then we bring him into the other set, that's the basement set, and that's how he enters the subterranean world, the tunnels and the sewers, how he gets around Los Angeles during the daytime. Over here we have the elevators in Angel's lobby. These elevators are modeled after a building in downtown Los Angeles called the Fine Arts Building. Let's see. And what we do is, we actually have an elevator cab here that if Angel wants to sort of take a trip to one floor or the other, he gets in, pushes a fake button. Our special effects guys close the door. And he goes to another floor of the building.
What gives you the right to hide out up here? Please stop me, you're hurting me.
We're gonna do more than that if you don't start telling us everything.
We know about you, Missy.
The name you registered under is a fake. We have proof.
Stuart did a brilliant job designing the hotel. The lobby is certainly the stunning centerpiece of it all. But what I was so impressed with was just how incredibly elegant and beautiful the upstairs hallways looked. Just little details like the light over the elevator and the elevator doors as they open, the wallpaper that he chose, the carpet that he used. Stuart really created the thing that I was seeing in my head.
And here we are now on the third floor of the Hyperion Hotel where Angel lives. This is apartment number 312. Let's see who's home. Who's home?
Darla?
You expecting her? Because I would really cut down on my legwork.
This is Angel's apartment upstairs in the third floor of the Hyperion Hotel. Our idea for this was that Angel lived in a larger apartment, more like a honeymoon suite of the hotel, so it's not really a one-room hotel room. The producers wanted Angel to have enough place to relax and get away from it all and sort of do a little pondering and a little brooding, a little research. So he lives here, obviously alone. Once in a while he has some guests, and every once in a while Cordy will come up here, or Wesley will come up here, or Gunn will come up here, and they'll have a little conversation. A couple scenes with he and Darla up here in this season. He's got a kitchen, which he doesn't use, because obviously he doesn't eat. He's got a refrigerator, which is not usually stocked with too much, except for whole blood, requisite for a vampire of any sort. What else he also has is filled with Art Deco furniture. The whole look of the apartment and the hotel itself is of the Art Deco period of Los Angeles. So a lot of our furnishings come from some of the better Art Deco stores all over Los Angeles. If it's a piece that we really like a lot, sometimes we'll buy it. Most of the stuff is rented throughout the season. We rent from some of the prop houses in Los Angeles. Some of the stuff we outright buy. Some of the pieces that are too beautiful and too specialized that can't be found for rent, we buy them and just use them until we're finished with them, and then they go into the vaults of Fox Television. This is Angel's bedroom here. He has a fairly commodious bedroom that offers him no view, because it was very important to them that Angel had very little interaction with the sunlight. So they decided to give him a bedroom in an apartment with almost no windows. He does have some French doors that lead out to a balcony, and when we do shoot the occasional scene where we see the balcony, what we'll do is we'll open those drapes and put a big photograph of the city of Los Angeles outside there, which is called a translight, that we light from behind. And it looks like Angel's up on the third or fourth floor overlooking the Los Angeles basin with all the city streets and nightlights. And just a few episodes ago, we did a whole episode where we created a rain outside of his balcony. And the camera came in through the rain, right into him standing in the rain on the balcony itself. As I said, sometimes we'll put a translight, which is a big photograph of the city of Los Angeles outside here. But what's really here is just the rest of our sets from the other stage. Here at Angel, we have 3 sound stages. We have on Paramount Lot, we have stages 5, 6, and 7. Stages 6 and 7 are taken up with what's called our permanent sets. Angel's hotel is a permanent set, Angel's apartment is a permanent set, and we keep them in close proximity to each other so the crew doesn't have to move far from one set to the other when they're shooting to maximize the time of the day that's spent actually working as opposed to moving. So right over there is Angel's hotel set.
You got a place to stay? You offering? Do I have to say it? Yeah. Okay, you're coming home with me. I hope you don't mind the couch.
All right, here we are at apartment 212. This is the apartment of Cordelia's character. Charisma Carpenter plays Cordelia on our show. If you'll notice, obviously this apartment was really built to be kind of like a typical Los Angeles style apartment, very Spanish in its trappings. The producers really wanted Cordy to have something that was very much a Los Angeles singles apartment.
An amazing apartment. I wish I lived here in real life. It's outstanding, isn't it?
Cordelia's apartment, which was built last year for episode 5, Room with a View. Cordy, if you remember in the episode, she was luckily able to find something through the help of Doyle, a fantastic apartment that she could afford only because it was haunted with the Phantom Dennis. And if you remember that episode right here, between this arch and this arch over here is where the wall was that was featured in that episode in the 1930s where the mom bricked up her son who was Dennis.
Mom, stop it. Are you gonna leave now? Huh? Are you gonna marry that streetwalker now?
So during that episode, we had 3 or 4 different walls built. We had a solid wall here, and then during the flashbacks, we noted we had a wall built that was halfway built up with a big hole here with the mom bricking up the son, and then a wall built that was mostly built up where you just saw the son's face, and then another wall built that was all the way finished where the mom was plastering through. And then we took that whole wall out and we put a wall that the special effects department built, which was a wall out of latex rubber that was painted to match the exact wall color. The actor was able to stand behind there and portraying Dennis and push his face through there to make the impression of a body trying to force its way out through the plaster walls. And eventually, the special effects department and our digital effects department created a big explosion where the wall blew apart and Phantom Dennis flew out and vanished the mom away. And then in the end of the episode, Cordy says, I'm gonna live here and I'm gonna first thing I'm gonna do is take out this wall. And she uncovered the beautiful arch that was the original part of the architecture here. This brings us to our karaoke bar, which is a new big set for this season. It was conceived by our executive producers, Joss Whedon and David Greenwald, as a place where Angel would go when he runs out of ideas for help and he goes to talk to someone called the host who helps him figure out just what's going on. Last year we had the Oracle Chamber where he went to seek information from another dimension. This year we have our host who is a part lounge lizard and part soothsayer.
I'm gonna have a chat with Mr. Tall, Dark, and Rockin'. And meanwhile, Durthok the Child Eater's gonna open up to y'all. He's searching for the Gorishan mage who stole his power, and he's feeling just a little bit country. So let's give him a hand.
It was really important for our executive producer, Joss. He wanted something that the audience would feel they were kind of in a really old-fashioned nightclub where Dean Martin might be performing. So it was really important for Joss that we had these nice curved walls. He wanted a lot of curves in here. He wanted us to bring in as many what he called radius surfaces as we can, as opposed to just corner angles. So we have a lot of curves here. We have some nice curves back here, and we were able to work in a lot of beautiful blue neon. And all of these areas, again, can slide out to get the camera crew in to shoot. Here at the Karaoke Bar, we have our traditional stage that you have in some theaters. And we were able to come up with some really great old footlights, old-fashioned footlights that are reminiscent from some of the old theaters that you find around Los Angeles or Las Vegas. And, of course, the ever-present karaoke machine, which every demon is able to come in and choose his song he wants to sing. And it's controlled off stage by our sound man. And we also have a screen that sits on stage here that's able to display all the lyrics for all the songs that the demons are singing. So it functions really just like a real karaoke bar, but it functions to our necessities.
What are you looking at? Hey, easy, easy, children. I don't allow violence in my club. Angel's here for the same reason you are.
How's that?
2 enemies, 1 case, all coming together in a beautiful buddy movie kind of way.
They supposed to work together on this?
Stewart does a incredible job week after week when you consider the limited amount of time he has creating all of these worlds. Whenever characters move from one place to another, the demands on the set designer are become enormous. A good case in point is the first episode when they go into the new world. Stewart had to create an entire medieval village, virtually out of nothing. We went to a ranch that had on it a standing set, very primitive, basically depicting a Mexican village. And in order to turn this into our medieval world, it all had to be refaced. Unbelievable amounts of material had to come in. Oxen, chickens, fire pots, strange outer-worldly instruments.
Strike quickly and true, Angel. Then we can eat.
In the episode, The Trial, the set they used for the room that Angel and I get sucked into, where the valet comes out and sends Angel off on his mission to save me. That was my favorite room, the way they built the set. It was really just beautiful and really made you feel like you were in this other world, this other dimension.
So where have you two been?
My little Spike just killed himself a slayer.
When we were back in time, all of the streets in China, I mean, it was really just meticulously done and beautiful. The sets, actually, all of the detail on the show is just really amazing and makes my job so much easier.
The sets done by Stuart Black are really fantastic. They're really dynamic, and they really inspire us as actors to work on them and get lost in this world, if you will.
How did you get in?
Same way you did. Opened the portal with the book.
We seem to have misplaced it.
The portal or the book?
Both.
Every 8 days, we film a new show. So I wrote an episode where a physicist is going to stop time, and he built me a whole physicist stopping time lab. And 5 days later, he has to build a whole underground medical facility where this transplant medical clinic that's connected to Wolfram and Hart has body parts, and we have 16 glass tubes with body parts in them. He does a tremendous job. I'm always amazed week to week. I don't know how they do it.
New on DVD.
You're a demon and you don't know anything about vampires.
Only what I learned from TV.
Angel Season 1. All 22 episodes in a new 6-disc collection.
Telling me you're an investigator?
More or less.
Complete with 5 original featurettes and revealing interviews.
Gets out of his shell and he starts kicking some serious demon butt.
More action, more adventure, more Angel than you'll ever get on TV. Angel Season 1. Own it today on video or DVD.
Los Angeles. You never know what's coming next.
The writing really got very strong in season 2. I felt we had more great shows. And Angel's journey became very interesting. When we sat down to do season 2, we said, well, the end of season 2, he'll go bad. That was our goal we were going to. Angel went dark, got to be very lonely and isolated again without becoming evil and jealous. I want to kill everybody in sight.
When I came on Angel, there'd been some of Angel's backstory that had been revealed on Buffy, and without telling it in order, we've slowly been letting out some of that history, and we did that this year with a story that took place in the 50s.
The second episode we shot, we go back in time to the 50s and McCarthyism and that whole era of racism and how everybody is very separated at the time, as far as Angel's character being separated from everybody else and just hiding in this hotel. And then towards the end of the episode, we find out that this hotel was their new offices for season 2.
I, for one, will be glad to see the last of this place. Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
No lie. Plus, it's kind of got an odor to it. You notice that?
70 years of violence, mayhem, and paranoia. Bad vibes.
We're moving in.
I mean, if you throw pillows, what's not to love?
It created some good storylines for them, the core group of Wesley and Cordelia and Gunn, trying to save Angel and bring him back from the dark side.
There's a lot more flashbacks back to the olden days when Angel was first turned into a vampire and what's led him to the point where he's at today. You know, Angel's a guy who's got a lot to forget. I mean, he's killed thousands upon thousands of people, and I think we've touched more on that this season. We've done much more of a story arc. We've delved into Angel's past where we've met Darla again, Drusilla.
It was really great to come back, and what was really interesting was that the first couple episodes was backstory. So all of the stuff that we as actors knew had happened in these characters' lives, we got to actually reenact and do. Because we were in London in 1860, we were in Hungary in 1880, we were in the Boxer Rebellion, China, 1900, and it was very lavish and lush, and the costumes and the sets, and it was like doing a period film.
We turn her into one of us.
She's a lunatic.
Eternal torment. Am I learning?
Wolfram and Hart brought Darla back, and they bring Darla back as a human, and then she becomes a vampire again, and he wants to save her, and he can't. There was just a wonderful arc between the two of them.
We were together 150 years. We shared everything. You're saying never.
You couldn't understand.
He feels beholden to her. He feels some sort of commitment to her, some sort of unspoken responsibility that, you know, a son feels for a mother.
Wolfram and Hart summoned Darla to come, and then summoned Drusilla to come to Los Angeles and basically to get a hold of Angel and bring him to the dark side.
Daddy's home. Here for the tasting?
For God's sake, help us.
People are going to die. I just can't seem to care.
We got to that place where Joss realized that he was already dark, and the only way to really make him dark was to have him do something that seemed extreme, and yet that we understood on a human level, which was, of course, locking the lawyers into the wine cellar with the vampires, and then firing his crew. So that allowed us to go to a really interesting place with him without having him turn into evil and jealous.
Darla waited a long time to make herself a mate. She searched a long time to find the one person that she felt she could spend eternity with. And she found Angel, then made him her mate, her lover, but there's also a whole mother-son element to it as well, because she sired him and taught him how to be evil and be a vampire. So there's obviously, in her eyes, Angel is her soulmate. Not so true for Angel, obviously.
What you need is a fresh kill. Hot human blood will wash away the foul memory of it. I promise. What?
You saved me.
She was hoping that by driving him to such a dark place, that she could turn him evil again, and he would become her Angelus. And obviously that's not what happened.
Sorry I couldn't do the same for you.
Let go of me. You still have a soul.
Tim Minear, once again, was able to capture both sides of the relationship between Angel and Darla, both Angel being done with her, being resolved, being able to walk away from her, and Darla not being able to accept it, and the pain and the suffering that she was going through.
You did me a favor tonight. Now I'm gonna do one for you. Get dressed and get out. Because the next time I see you, I will have to kill you.
One of the things that's interesting is that Darla made Angel, Angel made me, I made Spike, and ultimately I make Darla again. And so there is that dynamic that's very strange in that Darla is both my grandmother and then I am her mother because I give her, again, the chance to be the vampire.
You're all new again.
I like Darla a lot. I really like her character, and Julie Benz plays her like to the nines, man. She freaks that role.
Julie Benz is just a fantastic woman on all levels. Just really shows up and enjoys herself. So being with her and Juliet Landau, who plays Drusilla, is the same. I mean, they just come to play and have a good time.
Drusilla really got a chance to sort of spread her wings in Angel when she came to Los Angeles and hooked up to Wolfram and Hart with Darla. I got to be a little more evil in a way than I've gotten a chance to before.
I hear the sirens. They don't know if the world will be there in the morning.
Are the police coming?
No.
She senses what this place was built for.
Christian Kane plays a character of Lindsay McDonald, who is a young lawyer with Wolfram and Hart. You know, kind of a golden boy in the firm, very smart, very bright, comes from a poor family in Oklahoma, came out here in his pickup truck. And in season 2,
Tell me everything.
Lindsay begins to fall in love with the vampire Darla that Wolfram and Hart have brought back from the dead, and begins to sort of live outside Wolfram and Hart a little bit. And he's desperately in love with Darla, but she loves Angel and is really only using Lindsay.
It started out at the beginning of the season. Darla wanted to manipulate him just as he was trying to manipulate her. They're both very damaged people who really want the one person that they can't have to pay for whatever it is, and that's Angel.
I'd love to see that boy.
He's taken from both of us. So when you feel ready, we'll start thinking about giving a little back.
Angel cut off Lindsay's hand at the end of year 1 because Lindsay was about to burn a very important scroll. So he's had this plastic hand all year. And then eventually in year 2, he gets a new hand.
That's why they moved you to the top of the transplant list.
Transplant?
Yes, your hand. That's why you're here. We're going to give you a new one.
Christian Kane in real life is a terrific singer. And in episode 18 of year 2, he sings a song called L.A.
Warm, warm, it's always warm here.
I opened this season in the karaoke bar, which is called Caritas, which is Latin for mercy. So it's a safe haven for demons, vampires, humans. Anyone can go into this bar and they know that it's going to be a safe haven.
So all year we've been singing funny karaoke, and Angel is just terrible at it. And he's always going in and singing Barry Manilow or Wang Chung, and he's just horrible.
How about gracing us with a number? I don't sing.
Who is this guy?
He's connected to the mystic. When you sing, you bear your soul. He sees into it.
Well, you came and you gave without taking, but I sent you away, oh Mandy.
He's a better singer than what he comes off to be.
Is there a reason you're here?
Tomorrow night, the world's going to end. Thought you might want to know. The host came out of the bar and developed a relationship with Angel where they were sort of like fighting crime together in a buddy movie kind of way. It was really fun.
I know you're evil and everything, but that was just so amazing.
That was kind of tight.
Terrific, really.
Is everyone drunk?
Kate.
We've been able to bring some resolve to the character of Kate, and when Angel has an epiphany, Kate actually has an epiphany too, as she realizes an important spiritual truth, which is that she did not invite Angel in, and yet somehow he managed to get through her door and save her life, which is a very important moment for both of them.
That was very intense. But one of the great things that David Greenwalt and I discussed was actually the utter simplicity of attempting suicide, or, you know, you're not attempting it, you're planning on doing it. You know, not to make it over the top. It was completely an unknown world to Kate, and a very scary world to anybody who's never kind of believed in otherworldly beings or had any superstitions or believed in ghosts or what have you. She's distrusting, she's been hurt, she doesn't quite know how to communicate with people. Guess you never caught up with your vampire friends in time.
I did track him down later and set him on fire.
Sounds like you enjoyed it. But then again, the whole murder and mayhem thing's always been right up your alley.
It seemed that the fans warmed to Kate the moment she found out what Angel was and threatened his life. And certainly it becomes a more interesting dynamic that she's not seeing the ambiguity of a vampire with a soul.
You know, I'm getting pretty sick of this vampires killed my sister, so now I'm all entitled song. Don't you know anything else? Let's say, MacArthur Park?
Cool.
The relationship between Gunn and Angel is very stretched throughout season 2. Gunn is a natural leader, and Angel is the leader of our group. So we see some of that conflict happen in the Shroud of Ramon episode. Gunn hasn't completely let go of the fact that vampires have killed his sister, and he kind of still takes it out on Angel because he's a vampire.
Come on, English, you know you my man.
The dynamic with Wesley, to me, is probably the most interesting one in a way, simply because when they first met, there was some sort of tension, and it seemed like they may not get along. But over the course of season 2, I think in a lot of ways they become like best buds in a way. You know what I mean? They become really tight. And I think that that's really good because you wouldn't necessarily expect that from these two. But they both know that they're on a similar mission, and they respect each other and help each other. we see Gunn become really close to Cordelia and Wesley in response to Angel's kind of wigging out, as Cordelia calls it. And we form our own organization, and we become really tight doing that, and a bond is formed between the three of us. And then Angel comes back, of course.
Why is it that I'm not on the floor this time?
I got you.
Maybe he should drive?
Let's go.
Angel comes back and is basically working for the other three. He's realized that he was about to return to his vampire state, has caught himself in the nick of time, and is now very apologetic to his three partners and is willing now to work for them.
Cordy?
Cordy? Cordelia has been sucked through a portal out of our dimension and into another dimension, another planet, another place. And they have gone to try to rescue her and get involved in this world of demons and monsters and magicians.
Everyone is very anxious for Her Majesty to come shop with the Gruselak.
Say, don't you think it would add an air of feminine mystery if I were to just, not be here?
The last 3 episodes of year 2, they all go to a very, very different universe where Angel gets to live in a medieval universe and gets to learn where does he really belong and what's his place in the world.
And the question is, will they come back or not? And if so, who will come back? Will they all come back, or will someone be left behind?
That's not what I really am. I can't go back. Not now. I can never go back.
I was opening portals, but I couldn't tell where. You need the priest formulas to figure that out on this side.
Do you have to go, Majesty?
I don't want to.
She's Fred. She does that too.
Fred Winifred? The girl from Cordy's vision?
One of the things that keeps the show alive and interesting is that it's different week to week. One week it's a farce, one week it's a drama, it's a melodrama, and then sometimes it's very, very scary. And the show is very, very beautiful, and the show looks like a film, really.
Perhaps we need a plan.
Here's the plan. We go in, I start hitting people hard in the face. See where it takes us.
My name is Angel. What's yours?
Angel is a big action show.
A lot of fighting, kind of Batman-esque action.
We have a big, tough action hero.
Angel's clearly the physical hero of the show.
Got to hunt and he's got to fight.
Angel is a vampire who's been around for a while, so he knows his moves.
It's been great. Stunt coordinator Mike's just fantastic.
They have a vision. It's our job to create that vision.
Stunt coordinator Mike Vendrell, who, these guys will do anything.
The people that I work with are very qualified. Mike Massa, I just have to say, is the best stuntman I've ever worked with. He can just do about anything that needs to be done, from jumping off roofs to being hit by cars. He's done it all.
I take up all the bumps and bruises for David Boreanaz. Anything where he's hitting the ground or being thrown into walls, I'm the one doing it.
The stunt guys will give you great action. They'll show you all kinds of great action. You have to pick what is important to the story.
When you're writing action, there may be 3 or 4 specific action things that I know I need to happen. And I try to be as specific as possible when describing what the action should be.
You missed.
No, I didn't.
The script is our Bible. My job is to make that decision, what is a stunt and what is not a stunt. Stunt is anything an actor or an extra will do that could jeopardize their safety. Every show we have at least one stunt, and each show it changes from one to another. It's never the same.
Choreography, I leave that up to the stunt coordinator.
This is how I do most of my fights. I said, if I was Angel, what would I do? All our fights are choreographed down to the smallest detail. I mean, it's worked out like a dance. The preparation we have to take is that knowing what they're capable of doing, knowing what they think they're capable of doing.
We usually set up the master shot and we go through the stunt and getting the routine down.
David's wonderful. He's very quick. We'll just show him a few moves at a time, and he brings them to life. Well, I mean, he would love to do all of it himself, but obviously we can't let an actor do that, because if he got hurt, we all would be unemployed.
Feel this feeling, creepo?
A stunt woman is much tougher than a stunt man. And the reason that is that a woman, a lot of times, is called upon to do stunts in dresses. I don't know very many men that would want to do that. The girls that work on this show, Lisa Hoyle and Cheryl Lawson, who doubles Cordelia.
She's really talented, and she's a daredevil and total sweetheart. And Mike Massa is very capable, and I have the utmost respect for both of them.
When we're working with Cordelia, her stunts, because of her personality, she seems to be knocking people on the head a lot. That's her job. They're very tough, and they know their job real well, and it's very excited to watch them work. It's great.
You're in great
Danger?
pain.
Mike Vendrell, our stunt coordinator, has been very astute about having the fight and the action sequences reflect the nature of each character within them. Wesley didn't come out of that school of kind of action man, G.I. Joe.
He still has a little bit of a Jerry Lewis side to him. Alexis is very handy, very athletic, and he will take a fall for us. And a lot of times I won't double Alexis because he is so handy. But he knows how to do physical comedy real well, and his fights are a little more comedic than Angel's.
You expecting somebody else?
About the stunts for the first episode I did of Warzone, I actually contacted the stunt coordinator on my own and asked him to show me some moves because I figured this character, a lot of it would come across in the fight scenes because that's essentially who he is.
That all you got, vampire? Getting the game?
I think 5x5, when Angel fought Faith, was the best fight scene we ever did. It combined all the elements of a great action sequence. The fight takes place in the apartment in which Faith is residing and on the alley below where they do a high fall out the window into some trash cans, and then it begins to rain. That was real rain, and it rained all night long, and both Faith and Angel worked very hard to make the fight work, and the doubles worked very hard. It was a very exciting scene.
I love doing action, and I don't get to do enough.
I love it. It's like dance.
I have so much fun in the action scenes, and I ask them to do them over and over again, and I make them think that I'm trying to perfect it, but I'm just having fun doing it.
I'd rather see one great, interesting move, something that is telling the story. There's always a story to be told in a fight.
I really want him to look different every show so that if you watch the show and you enjoy the show, he changes. His personality is always changing from moody to happy to sad. That's how he fights. He fights like his moods. He changes quickly.